So there is destruction of the liver architecture that is causing distortion and loss of normal hepatocytes. Now, what happens is this architecture is getting distorted and there is loss of normal vasculature. So hepatic vasculature is getting disturbed with the development of the portosystemic vascular shunt. So what is happening is there is development of the portosystemic vascular shunts and the formation of nodules. So this is leading to the development or the formation of nodules. So there is destruction of the liver architecture. It is causing destruction and distortion and the loss of normal hepatic vasculature and the development of portosystemic vascular shunts and the formation of nodules. Now, cirrhosis of the liver can be classified on the basis of the nodule formation as the micronodular or the macronodular cirrhosis. In the micronodular cirrhosis, we are getting small nodules less than 3 millimeter in diameter, and it is caused due to alcohol. So micronodular cirrhosis, in this particular type of cirrhosis, you are getting small nodules of less than 3 millimeter in diameter, and it is caused due to the alcohol. In the macronodular cirrhosis, there are large nodules greater than 3 millimeter in diameter, and these are secondary to the viral hepatitis. So micronodular cirrhosis is caused mostly due to alcohol, and macronodular cirrhosis is caused due to the viral hepatitis. In micronodular cirrhosis, you are getting small nodules less than 3 millimeter in diameter, whereas in the macronodular cirrhosis, you are getting nodules greater than the 3 millimeter in diameter. Now, what are the clinical features of cirrhosis of liver? Whenever a patient of cirrhosis of liver is coming to you, what are the common clinical features that you are going to observe? The clinical features of cirrhosis of liver includes the clinical presentation is highly variable. So whenever a patient of cirrhosis of liver is coming to you, the patient can present with a highly variable clinical features. There are some completely asymptomatic. Some patients are completely asymptomatic, and these are found incidentally on the ultrasound or surgery. So most of the cases or many cases that you are getting of the cirrhosis of liver, these are accidental findings. They don't have any type of complaint. But whenever they are going for any kind of other investigation, they are going for USG or any kind of surgery, then suddenly you will find out that the patient is suffering from cirrhosis of liver. Other presents with isolated hepatomegaly. So there can be isolated hepatomegaly, splenomegaly, or the signs of portal hypertension. So the patient can present with the hepatomegaly, the patient can present with splenomegaly, or the other signs of portal hypertension. Portal hypertension we are going to discuss in the next lecture. So there are different non-specific symptoms which includes the right upper quadrant abdominal pain. We have fever. So non-specific symptoms can be there which do not present you towards cirrhosis of liver, but these will be present. Right upper quadrant abdominal pain, because we know that liver is present in the right hypochondrium region. So you will have right upper quadrant abdominal pain. There will be fever. The patient will also complain of nausea and vomiting. There will be diarrhea, anorexia, and malaise. So non-specific symptoms will be there, which includes right abdominal, right upper quadrant pain. There will be fever, nausea and vomiting. We will have diarrhea, anorexia, and malaise. Now, there are other symptoms as well that you are going to see in cirrhosis of liver. The other symptoms includes ascites. There can be ascites, that is accumulation of fluid in the peritoneal cavity. We have discussed about ascites in the previous lectures. There will be edema or upper GI hemorrhages. There will be symptoms of jaundice or encephalopathy. The patient will also complain of pulmonary arteriovascular. There will be pulmonary arteriovascular shunts that will develop, leading to hypoxemia and eventually central cyanosis. So in the other symptoms, we are going to get pulmonary arteriovenous shunt, and there will be hypoxemia, central cyanosis. There will be pigmentation that is most striking, and the pigmentation consists of hematochromatosis. The patient will complain of dipyridine contracture. This is the dipyridine contracture that is traditionally regarded as these complaints of cirrhosis. So patient will have cirrhosis dipyridine contracture. The patient will also have hypoalbuminemia and coagulation abnormalities due to the defective protein synthesis. So other symptoms, in the other symptoms of cirrhosis of liver, we will have ascites, edema, upper GI hemorrhages. There will be symptoms of jaundice or encephalopathy. The patient also complains of pulmonary arteriovenous shunt that develops, leading to hypoxemia and eventually the central cyanosis. There will be pigmentation. that is most striking in hematochromatosis, Dupuytren contracture, albuminemia, and coagulation abnormalities due to the defective protein synthesis. Now, what are the signs that you are going to see Sorry. in case of physical examination of the patient for cirrhosis of liver? So, in the physical examination, you will find the liver and spleen may be enlarged. So, there will be enlargement of the liver and spleen, with the liver edge being firm and nodular. The liver edge will be firm and nodular, and the other findings will include scleral icterus. There will be Palmer erythema, spider angiomas. There will be parotid gland enlargement with digital clubbing, muscle wasting, or development of the edema and ascites. In men, there will be decreased body hair and gynecomastia with testicular atrophy that will be seen. And in the woman, there will be menstrual irregularities or amenorrhea. So cirrhosis of liver will present as, in the examination, there will be enlargement of the liver and the spleen, with the liver edge being firm and nodular. The other findings will include scleral icterus with Palmer erythema. There will be Palmer erythema, means redness of the palms, spider angiomas, parotid gland enlargement with digital clubbing. There will be clubbing of the fingers, muscle wasting, and development of edema and ascites. In the men, there will be decreased body hair and the presentation with gynecomastia or testicular atrophy. In women, there will be menstrual irregularities or amenorrhea. Now, what are the investigations that could be done in case of cirrhosis of liver? In case of cirrhosis of liver, it is having a histological diagnosis. Histological diagnosis that is characterized by diffuse hepatic fibrosis. So we will have cirrhosis with diffused hepatic fibrosis and nodule formation. The patient will have abrupt onset on the clinical manifestation with abnormal routine lab studies. There will be anemia. Anemia will be of microcytic due to blood loss, macrocytic due to folate deficiency, and hemolytic that is called as Zeeves syndrome. So the patient will complain of cirrhosis, that is a histological diagnosis. It will be characterized by diffuse hepatic fibrosis and nodule formation. There will be abrupt onset of the clinical manifestations with abnormal routine lab studies. Anemia will be there. It can be microcytic due to blood loss, macrocytic due to folate deficiencies, and hemolytic that is known as the Zeeves syndrome. The patient will also complain of pancytopenia or the hypersplenism. There is hyponatremia, hypokalemia, alkalosis with glucose disturbances and hypoalbuminemia. The abdominal ultrasound can be done with Doppler study, and in the CT and MRI, it will show cirrhosis of the liver, splenomegaly, collateral development of the collaterals with venous thrombosis. A definitive diagnosis depends on the liver biopsy. So for the investigations, you can go for the histological diagnosis, which is characterized by diffuse hepatic fibrosis and nodule formation. This I have already told you that in cirrhosis, you are getting two things, fibrosis and the nodule formation. There will be abrupt onset of the clinical manifestations with abnormal routine lab studies. There will be anemia due to blood loss with microcytic due to folate deficiency, lymphocytic that is called as Zeeves syndrome. There will be pancytopenia, hyponatremia, hypokalemic alkalosis, glucose disturbances, and hypoalbuminemia. There will be, you can go for abdominal ultrasound and Doppler study, and there will be CT and MRI. It may show cirrhosis of the liver, splenomegaly, development of collaterals, venous thrombosis, and a definitive diagnosis often depend on liver biopsy. Now, what are the complications? Complications of cirrhosis of liver includes the portal hypertension. This portal hypertension we are going to discuss in the next lecture. So we can have portal hypertension. There is hepatic encephalopathy. There can be coagulopathies because of the different coagulative disorders, hematological abnormalities, which includes anemia and neutropenia. The patient also complains of hepatorenal syndrome and ascites. So in complications, we can have portal hypertension, ascites, hepatic encephalopathy, coagulopathies, hematological abnormalities like anemia, neutropenia, and hepatorenal syndrome. Now, how to manage a case of hepatic cirrhosis? So for the management of the hepatic cirrhosis, number one, first of all, we have to identify the cause, and then we have to treat the cause accordingly. Because we know that alcohol is the most important cause for development of liver cirrhosis. So we have to ask the patient to stop the alcohol. Abstemiousm from alcohol is essential. Daily multivitamin, thiamine, and folic acid has to be given in order to if there is deficiency of folic acid, vitamin B12, that is leading to microcytic or hypomegaloblastic anemia, then we have to give daily multivitamin, thiamine, and folic acid. We also have to correct the potassium, magnesium, and phosphate deficiencies. Transfusion of the packed red cells plasma is necessary in such case, and we have to monitor the glucose level. Prednisone are the glucocorticoids that can be given that reduces the inflammation. Antiviral therapy, in case of viral hepatitis, you can go for antiviral therapy, which includes imivudine, edifovir, telbibudine, tenofovir, etc. And at the end, if nothing can be done, then we can go for liver transplantation. So in the management, we have first of all identifying the cause and treating the underlying cause: absenteeism from alcohol, multivitamins, the thiamine, folic acid, correction of the potassium, magnesium, and phosphate deficiencies, transfusion of TCV, back cell volume, and plasma if necessary. We have to monitor the glucose level. Prednisone or prednisolone can be given. Antiviral therapy can be given, and at the end, liver transplant can be done. So this is all about the cirrhosis of the liver. I hope you have understood this session properly. In the next lecture, we will be talking about portal hypertension. So this session is powered by Digital Version 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University. I hope you must have understood the session properly. If you have any query, please mention in the comment box and I'll try to resolve it. So this was all for today. Now you must also check for the e-notes and complete the homework that I have given in the e-notes. So this was all for today. Thank you very much. Have a good day.